Good evening. Governor Alex Otti has just signed the 2026 budget into law and made some major revelations about industrial revival plans that could transform Abia State's economy. This happened today at the Nwa Day celebration, and what the governor said about bringing dead factories back to life is something every Nigerian needs to hear, because we are talking about thousands of jobs and real hope for communities that have suffered for years. The governor revealed that his administration is currently in serious discussions with Lebanese investors to revive the Abia textile mill. Now, for those who may not know the history, Abia used to be a powerhouse for textile manufacturing in Nigeria. The Abia textile mill employed thousands of people directly and indirectly before it collapsed. When that factory died, it took down entire families and businesses that depended on it. Tailors, fabric sellers, transport workers, food vendors who sold to factory workers, everyone felt the pain. So when Governor Otti says they are talking to serious investors about bringing it back, this is not small news. This is about restoring dignity and livelihoods to a whole community. But the textile mill is just one part of a much bigger picture. The governor disclosed that beyond the textile revival, there are ongoing discussions for an international glass industry and a metallurgical plant. He also mentioned that the government is working on reviving Ogwe Golden Chicken and International Equitable Associates. When you add all these industries together, we are looking at a potential economic transformation that could create tens of thousands of jobs across Abia State. Think about what that means for families. Think about young graduates who have been sitting at home for years with nothing to do. Think about parents who have been struggling to feed their children. These industries represent hope and opportunity. What makes this story even more significant is that it came on the same day the governor signed the 2026 budget into law. The budget is titled Budget of Inclusive Growth and Sustainable Development with a total size of 480 billion naira. Out of this amount, 285.3 billion naira is allocated for capital expenditure, while 194.7 billion naira goes to recurrent expenditure. This shows a government that is prioritizing infrastructure and development over just paying salaries and running offices. The capital to recurrent ratio is roughly 60% to 40%, which is actually good because it means more money is going into building roads, schools, hospitals, and yes, reviving industries. Governor Otti made it very clear during his speech at the Nwa Day celebration that his government is taking a smart approach to these industrial revivals. The government is not planning to run these factories themselves because governments are typically not good at running businesses. Instead, they are playing the role of removing the risk first, fixing the initial problems, and then bringing in credible private sector investors who have the expertise and capital to actually run these companies profitably. This is the right strategy because history has shown us that government-owned enterprises often fail due to mismanagement, political interference, and lack of commercial discipline. The governor also connected industrial revival to security in Abia State. He made a very important point that crime thrives where people are not gainfully employed. When young people have no jobs and no hope for the future, some of them become desperate and turn to crime. But when factories are running and creating jobs, people have something meaningful to wake up to every morning. They have income to take care of their families. They have dignity and purpose. This creates a more peaceful and stable society. The governor said his administration sees job creation and security as two sides of the same coin. You cannot have real security without economic opportunity, and you cannot have sustainable economic growth without security. If you are finding this information valuable and want to stay updated on developments like this across Nigeria, please hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you never miss important news. What I find particularly encouraging is that Governor Otti is not just talking. His administration has already taken concrete steps on industrial revival. They paid 2.5 billion naira to take over the Star Paper Mill from the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria and another 500 million naira as initial payment for Afro Beverages. The Star paper mill handover already happened, and the government is working with potential investors to get it operational. This shows that the administration is serious about implementation, not just making promises. When you see actual money being paid and legal processes being completed, you know something real is happening. During the Nwa Day celebration, the governor praised the Nwa people for their entrepreneurial spirit and their contribution to the economic development of Abia State. He acknowledged that Nwa Nation has produced many successful business people and professionals who have made their mark not just in Abia but across Nigeria and beyond. This celebration of local achievement is important because it reminds everyone of the potential that exists within the state. If the right environment is created with security, infrastructure, and supportive policies, the people of Abia can build thriving businesses and industries that will create wealth for generations. The signing of the 2026 budget today is significant because it provides the legal framework and financial resources for the government to execute its plans for the coming year. A budget is not just numbers on paper, it represents priorities and commitments. When you see a government allocating 60% of its budget to capital projects, it tells you that leadership is thinking long-term about building infrastructure and creating assets that will benefit future generations. This is the kind of forward-thinking approach that separates successful governments from those that just coast along doing the minimum. The industrial revival strategy also aligns with Nigeria's broader economic challenges. Our country has been too dependent on oil revenue for too long. We import almost everything, including things we used to produce locally. Textile mills like the one in Abia used to supply fabrics across West Africa. Our paper mills produced exercise books and other paper products. Our glass factories met local demand. But over the years, these industries collapsed due to various reasons, including poor power supply, lack of maintenance, mismanagement, and cheaper imported alternatives. Now we spend billions of dollars importing products we could easily manufacture here if our industries were working. What Governor Otti is attempting in Abia could become a model for other states if it succeeds. Imagine if every state in Nigeria took stock of its dead industries and worked systematically to revive them using a similar approach of government de-risking followed by private sector management. We could create millions of jobs across the country. We could reduce our import bills significantly. We could build a real productive economy instead of just a consuming economy. This is not just about Abia State anymore. This is about showing Nigeria and other African countries that industrial revival is possible with the right leadership and strategy. The discussions with Lebanese investors for the textile mill revival is also noteworthy because it shows the administration is looking beyond Nigeria for capital and expertise. Foreign direct investment is crucial for industrial development, especially in a country like Nigeria, where local capital is often risk-averse. When foreign investors are willing to put their money in Nigerian industries, it sends a positive signal about the investment climate and the seriousness of the government. It means they have done their due diligence and they believe the investment can work and generate returns. The timing of this announcement is also strategic. We are at the end of 2025, heading into a new year with a new budget. This creates momentum and sets the tone for what 2026 will be about in Abia State. The government is basically telling everyone that 2026 is going to be the year of industrial transformation and job creation. This kind of clear messaging helps to align expectations and get everyone moving in the same direction. As we watch this story unfold in the coming months, the key questions will be about execution. Can the government actually deliver on these promises? Will the investors come through with the required capital? Will the revived industries be able to compete with imported products? Will power supply and other infrastructure challenges be addressed adequately? These are not easy questions, but at least there is now a clear plan and visible action being taken. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you believe these industries will actually come back to life? What impact would it have on your community if they do? And please subscribe to this channel so you can follow this story as it develops and see whether these promises turn into reality.